Well, in this video I will explain why the sewing machine breaks needles and how it should be fixed to prevent it from continuing to break needles while you are sewing. Remember friends that it is very important that you watch the entire video so that you do not miss any adjustments. We are going to move the machine manually, we are going to lower the needle, and we are going to notice the following. There we can see that something is blocking the needle, something is hitting the needle. If I apply much more force, the needle will surely break. And we can see that the pressure foot has nothing to do with the needle, since it is falling in the center part. What should we do to prevent the needles from breaking? And it is most likely that the one involved in this misalignment that breaks the needles is the hook. Therefore, we must adjust it. Well, before looking at the whole bottom part, we must not force the hand wheel. We are going to loosen the needle screw so that the needle is completely loose, and then we will move the hand wheel to raise it. We can see that if you keep touching it, you can see how it flexes enough. So the ideal thing is to hold it while we raise this part here so that it flexes a little bit and does not break, so it does not come out completely straight. Now we are going to go to the bottom part and uncover the entire lower section to see the whole internal mechanism down there. We will remove this cover, unscrew the bolts holding it in place, and take the cover off completely. Remember that depending on the machine and the model, the position of the screws and other parts varies, but for most of these machines with a vertical hook, this mechanism and adjustment are done at the bottom of the hook. We are also going to loosen this screw and remove this cover. And here we see the internal part. We are going to remove the bobbin case with its bobbin. We are going to remove the openers, and we are going to remove the hook retainer. We will lift the hook, the internal part. With the needle bar at the top, we will proceed to put the needle back in. It must be up so that the adjustment is correct, and we can clearly see what is happening at the bottom and why the needles break when sewing. Now we are going to move the hand wheel manually, and we are going to notice the following. We are going to see what the needle starts to go down, the hook arrives. We can show the tip of the hook, we keep turning the hand wheel, and there is the fold, which we can see that the tip of the hook, it hits the needle or passes in front when it should pass behind. There we can see it, and we see it is a thin needle. We see how it touches it. This is the fault. The hook is to blame for breaking the needles. Why? Because it is misaligned, meaning it is pulled too far up or forward, causing it to hit the needle. After the needle is falling into its center, the misalignment is caused by the hook, and this causes it to break the needles. So for that, we uncover the bottom part, which is where we will adjust the hook so it passes behind the needle's notch and does not touch it. Well, and here we can see the fold. I'm going to show you. Here we can see on the inside part here is the shaft where this whole piece goes, which is the hook. And we can see how the hook is too high. We can see that has all this gap, so the hook should be a little lower. Therefore, the hook is too high, which causes the tip to hit the needle. So we must do the following. We are going to loosen this screw along with this one and this black part. This is what holds the shaft to this part here, so that the hook or the hook shaft does not end up vibrating or moving too much. So this is a bushing that holds the hook shaft, so it doesn't vibrate much or move up or down. And these two screws loosen the shaft, so we can lower this part a little bit to prevent the tip from breaking the needles. Since right now it is hitting them, we lower it a little and it moves to the left. Once we have this part loose using the screwdriver head, we are going to tap it very gently so that this part moves down a little, not too much.
After that, we are going to tighten one of the two screws.
Now tightened. Now we put the hook back and check if it is right. If not, we must do it a little more until the hook tip no longer touches the needle. With the hook in place, we turn the hand wheel to see if the adjustment was done correctly.
There we can see that if we turn the hand wheel and move it back,
we can see that the hook tip now passes behind the needle notch. It no longer touches the needle. This tells us that the adjustment is correct. With this adjustment done, we go to the bottom and tighten the screws. Once we verify it is correct, we proceed to tighten the screws enough so the part remains well secured so it does not come loose again. Now we will adjust this part with a 2mm hex K, which we must loosen to raise this shaft up to this point here. To do this, we will remove the hook and check the driver, which should not have any play. It should not move too much. It can be very little, very slight, because if it moves too much, it will cause problems. It could lead to skipped stitches, excessive vibration, or parts touching or rubbing against each other. So we are going to loosen it so we can move it up to this part here, all the way up to keep the shaft from moving too much. Here we can see this hole. With a screwdriver like this one, we will push it up to the top as far as it goes, and with the wrench we will tighten the screws. It must be completely flush with the piece above.
We turn the hand wheel
and we tighten the second screw. And remember that this part may have this movement, which is a very slight movement. When it is a too large movement, too much movement, we must adjust the part, which I will do in another video. Once the adjustment is finished, we put the covers on, and we are going to test the machine by sewing so it does not break the needles. We put this cover here first.
we proceed to this cover here.
Well, now let's test that the adjustment turned out well. Remember that the machine should sew well now. It should no longer break needles and should stitch perfectly, without skipped stitches, without any strange noise, and best of all, it will no longer break any needles while sewing. And we can see that the machine worked perfectly for us on top and on the bottom, and we see that at no point do we hear any noise or any needle breakage. The machine should no longer break any needles for us.